What's up, guys? That really gross guy here. We are back, and today we are dropping into Fortuna. And today's video is going to be fairly simple. We are just basically going to take a quick tour of Fortuna. We're going to talk about each one of the shops and each one of the locations. Later on in the video, there is going to be, I'm definitely going to give you guys a heads up, but there is going to be a point where it's slightly spoilery. A lot of you guys are already aware of the one location. There is a secondary location which we are going to take a look at, and that location is going to have a character which you guys may recognize, but I don't want to spoil it for you unless you guys want to be spoiled, so we'll look at that in just a minute. But first, this location immediately to the right, a lot of you guys are aware of it, is the kit gun seller, who is, her name is Zood. She does kind of have a multi-personality issue going on here because of her computer has, I guess, some programming, you know, some wires crossed, let's just say. But you're going to see here the ability to buy parts for the kit gun. Of course, the better the parts or the different types of parts, you're going to need better standing in Fortuna. But you can see here just piecing together one of the guns that I think looks kind of fancy. We can sit there and customize some guns. We can also take a look at the daily special. And I'm really excited about these kit guns. I want to do some videos about those in the near future. But for the most part, this is very similar to the Zaw system we saw over on Cetus. So there's not too much to talk about or go over there, but hopefully you guys do enjoy those kit guns. They do look fairly interesting, especially with the way certain clips and stuff hook up, and how some of them fire elemental type stuff as well is pretty interesting. So for the most part, over there on that right hand side, there's not a whole lot of stuff going on. When you get up towards this location, you're going to meet Yutiko, and Yutiko is kind of like Kanzu. He is going to be the person that gives you the bounties, or she is going to give you the person that gives you the bounties, so that when you go out into Orvalis, you have some things to do, and they range in difficulty just like they do over on Cetus. And of course, that's where you can do your standing and upgrade all of your standing stuff. Which is very important for you to do, you know, obviously in order to get a little further into the game. You can also take bounties out in the waste, or not the wasteland, in the valley in Orvalis. However, there are some specific ways to do that. We'll go over that in another video. Over here, there is a merchant. You may or may not see this specific merchant when you enter the game for the first time. I won't tell you exactly why this merchant looks different from when you first get there and when I'm seeing them now, because it's a little bit of a spoiler. But at this point in time, this merchant is selling. When you first get there, actually, this merchant will not necessarily be here selling these MOA parts. However, in the future, you will be able to buy the different parts for the MOAs and then construct them here. Of course, you can pick and choose from your parts. They all have their own stats and all that stuff when you go through and guild them. When you actually guild them completely, the stats will slightly go up. So these are personal preference. You get to pick and choose your MOA parts, pick and choose how you want to build your MOA. There's plenty of them here. Of course, the more advanced parts will require more standing with Fortuna itself. So this is going to be kind of a work in progress, where it's going to probably be a while before you get, you know, all the parts you want for all the MOAs you want to create, especially the weapons, because the weapons are all at the end. But that's just how it's going to be done, how you're going to go throughout and get your MOA. There is, just like some of the other merchants, a daily special, which you can purchase, which will change every day, but it's up to you. I personally don't suggest it unless you find something that surprisingly is, you know, exactly what you want, and you just have, you know, an abundant amount of platinum to buy it. And then over here, you can also guild, name, and do all that fun stuff with your MOA companion. Kind of like a kit gun and a Zaw, you can also do it with the MOAs. Over here is Smokefinger. Smokefinger is going to be your geology person. Well, I guess we'll just say it's going to be the one you get your mining laser from. Like I said in my mining tutorial video, is if you have the one from Cetus, you actually do not need this mining laser. I don't know what the advantage is to it, because currently there is a bug where I could not switch my mining laser to the new one for some reason. But anyways, very similar to the geology person on Cetus. However, there are different resources on Orb-Valis. So once again, you're going to have to do your farming and your loots and all that stuff on Orb-Valis to kind of get what you need for a lot of these parts and these merchants on this planet. So your kick guns are going to need them. The MOAs are going to need those parts. There's some other things that require those parts, so that's a big deal as well. Over here is the business. The business is your conservationist. He's going to provide you with your trank guns, your fishing spears, your lures, as well as your calls for your animals, the animals that you are trying to get. And he also is going to have the new companion sentinel, and also sells the special wall mounts for the fish that you catch if you want to mount those. There is more to business. Some of you guys are already kind of aware, if you've been watching the dev streams, what this guy is about, but you guys will find that out in the story as you enter Fortuna as well. So this guy is a big deal. He's going to basically be your conservationist guy. You're going to be talking to him quite a bit. For all your fish, you're going to be able to, I also did a fishing tutorial video, you're going to be able to turn in your fish for standing or chop them up. Well, chop them up or dismantle them for parts, which is another thing you're going to need for kit guns and MOAs and all that stuff. When you do the conservation deal, you get these tags from each one of the animals that you are able to tranquilize, and you're going to be able to turn them in for these floofs, which are like decorations, little decorations like stuffed animal looking animals, and they're kind of cool. And there's also a special badge that you can get, which basically says that you've captured one of every animal on the open world, which is pretty cool. When you go up the elevator, which is nearby, you will run into Ticker, and Ticker is he's the guy that kind of oversees all of the debts. If you guys are not familiar, everybody in Fortuna is in some way in debt to Nef Anyo, and they're trying to pay off these debts in order to basically not get dismantled and messed with. We'll just put it that way. But you can actually come up here and buy out the debts. You can pay off the debts of some of these different people, which they do refresh in time. But you can buy out the debts of these people, and they will give you these different bonds, these debt bonds that you have. These bonds are going to help you with standing in Cetus. They are also sometimes required, or not Cetus, Fortuna. They're also required in order to level up your standing from one level to another. So this guy is very, very important. He is also pretty veteran friendly, because veterans typically have a lot of resources, and they can usually get the standing up fairly quickly here at Fortuna if you've been playing the game for a long time. He sells some decorations, which you guys saw just a second ago. If they're for you to put on your Lisette, you can do that, but they require a bit of standing and all that stuff, and or not standing, but what they require is, for me, not really worth it. Here's the debt bonds. This is where you trade in your debt bonds in order to get additional standing with Solaris United, and that's going to be, like I said, a good way for veterans to quickly level up. And for newer players, you're going to have to do some farming to get all the required resources to get those bonds in order to level up as well. But that's where that guy is. You're going to probably be visiting with him fairly often to try and kind of fast track the standing process. But that is basically it for the regular merchants, everybody that is pretty much here and you're pretty much aware of right off the bat. Now we are going to be going up and seeing the vent kids. These vent kids are unlocked through the story that you first get to see. They're up on the balcony, but I will actually show you the way to get there from the lower level, which is this elevator. They're going to be unlocked through the story, so it's up to you if you guys want to watch past this point. You guys have probably seen it if you watched the dev stream. These guys are the guys that give you, or these children are the ones that give you the K-Drive, which is the hoverboard in the game. So when you come up to this upper deck up here, you are going to come up on this large container and enter this clubhouse. You can see a child up there as well. This is not accessible until you unlock them through the story, like I said, but you will be able to enter here and meet with these kids. It's pretty funny. I think this is a cool little area. This kid is talking to trying to sell you a hoverboard and all that stuff. You've got the posters on the walls, which are pretty neat, and these can actually be placed on your K-Drive if you buy them through the merchant or the marketplace or something like that. But you can see a bunch of little kids here. There's some music going on in the background. They're knocking on some pipes and metals and stuff like that in order to create this music, and it's pretty cool. But this is Roki. Roki is the merchant for the K-Drive, the children, the vent kids, and you get your own standing with the vent kids, which is, in order to get standing with them, you have to do tricks out on the open world with your K-Drive, and those points will end up going towards standing, and then using that standing, you'll be able to buy these parts for your K-Drives in the future. In order to get to the next title, you will have to max out the reputation for them, which is interesting. But just like any other buildable items like Zaws, kick guns, and MOAs, you will buy parts, and some parts are rarer than others, which means some parts require more standing, and being at a higher tier with the little faction, you can come up here and customize a K-Drive with parts and have it built. It's up to you. You can also preview it like I am here, which is pretty interesting. These K-Drives look pretty cool. I'm definitely enjoying my time out there on Orvalis with these K-Drives. You have the board, which you can see here, which is the first part. The reactor is actually going to be this middle piece down towards the back of the K-Drive. Up in the front, on the nose, you have a piece, and then the thrusters, or the jets, are going to be down towards the base, or the bottom of the board, to thrust you forward. You can pick different parts, different items, just like Zaws and all that good stuff. These, like I said, these K-Drives do look pretty cool, especially, you know, when they get very, like, Star Wars-esque. And I'm pretty excited to get a fully decked out, you know, K-Drive. Especially when you get closer to the last one. This last one you'll see here looks pretty awesome. But anyways, that is basically the Vent Kids. They also have a daily special, so it's up to you if you want to go through and buy that. They surprisingly are not that expensive. However, you're going to really need to go through and get standing with them anyways in order to get the mods and all that stuff. So I don't necessarily think it's all that worth it, especially because a lot of the time you're going to be out in the open world. You're going to be on your K-Drive a lot, and you're going to be getting a lot of points, so you might just want to save your platinum. So that is the Vent Kids. We're going to our second spoiler spot. This isn't necessarily, I don't want to say it's a spoiler, but when I first saw the character, I was really excited that they have actually introduced this character to us again, or introduced it to us in the actual game, because this little backroom area is unlocked after you complete the story, which is why I said turn away. But if you are here, then you basically are willing to kind of check it out. So here we see Yutiko, the Biz, and Legs, and these are kind of the what is it? This United something or other. The people of people. Anyways, and back here we actually find Little Duck. This is the person I was telling you about. This is Little Duck. She is from the comics. Well, the first time you talk to her, she has a line of dialogue that's pretty interesting. However, she does not want to talk to you if you are in Warframe form. She only wants to talk to you if you are as your operator, which is interesting. But she's fairly cool. She's only a spoiler in the idea that you don't know she's a part of the game until you finish the story. So It's very interesting. She sells the operator parts, which I'm really excited about, but she also is kind of her own standing that you have to give her pieces for, which are a little bit. I don't want to say they're difficult to get out in Orb Ballast, but there's a special way to get these specific pieces to turn into her, and I'll probably do a video on that here in the near future, because there are 3 different locations in which you get those pieces, those parts. So that is the back room. That is everything you can pretty much see on Fortuna, or in Fortuna, and those are all the merchants, those are all the little shops. That's the bounty area. This is the hub world for, just like Cetus was to Plains of Eidolon. There's the elevator. That is where you will leave when you do your bounties, and I'm sure you guys are already pretty aware of that, but this is Fortuna. This is what you have to look forward to when you unlock Fortuna and start getting your standing. All the shops, all the kit gun, or all the kit type weapons and MOAs and K drives and all that good stuff. Very cool. This is an awesome content update. I'm really excited to continue playing, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hope you learned something, and I hope to see you guys again in the next video. Blah!